ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Paladins Open Bracket Qualifiers. My name is Rain Day. It's Saturday. It's a fun day. We're in Europe. We're actually in Alpharetta, Georgia, at the Hi-Rez studios. And, of course, I got my man Hi-Rez pretty here with me. Going to cast the action for you today. It's a good day, Nick. It's a really interesting day. I know a lot of us are pretty excited about this one.
Yeah, this is Season 1. This is the first tournament we'll be seen playing with all the legendaries. We'll see how that shakes up the picks in the pick draft, how anything new, hopefully, will get picked up first over Makoa, maybe. And
we'll see, of course, a big kind of star of the last few weeks, Drogos, who you've seen Bugsy play at an incredible level, just got a new skin in Paladins. So we want to let you know, if you did miss that, Drogos Dread Hunter is available. You could actually purchase this directly from the store, but if you've also bought a lot of items out of the Colossal chest, you'll get this at an incredibly inexpensive value. It's very, very valuable. I think only 75 crystals per piece in the Colossal chest, whereas it's 200 per piece if you buy it directly. So for those who have been supporting, you get a little bit of extra action with that one. It's a cool skin.
That's right. And it's the whole kit and caboodle here. Voice pack, weapon, head, and body as well. So you can mix and match it with some of Drogos' other stuff, but definitely go with that voice pack.
Oh, yeah, it's nice. I like it. I like it. And, of course, if you want some extra crystals, you want some extra gold, you want some extra mastery champion to get those champion masteries up, get some chests, then this is a great weekend to play. It is the double everything weekend, just like Dry Bear, likes to do.
Dry Bear fashion.
In balance and in, of course, rewards. So a lot of you are going to be excited about this one. 2 times gold, 2 times XP, 2 times champion mastery from the 22nd to the 26th. Get your games in.
That's right. Get grinding those. Get those chests. Get that essence. Get all your legendaries unlocked. It's even easier now.
Yeah, it's even easier. A lot of you are going to be excited about this. Now, let's take a look at what's to come for this weekend. Of course, we are in Europe and North America. That'll be tomorrow. But in terms of the standings, Burrito find themselves at the top versus D69. Of course, they're already qualified. No one can overtake them. But that will be an interesting match to see what they go for. And Interlopers and Skitlight now in the top 4. Skitlight not in the semifinals today. But it will be a very interesting thing to see if they stay that way. Who's going to get that bottom 4?
Yep, so Wolves obviously making it into the semifinals here. Have the chance. They got to stack up against Burrito, though. It's very difficult.
But they can do something.
Task to ask of them. District 69 could take that first seed spot away if they do find the win here today, though. Burrito with a second-place win would go to 2, or an even 300. District 69 with the 100-point first-place finish would go to 320 here and could snatch away that first seed spot.
Yeah, Wolves are kind of fighting for their lives, right? I believe it's 65. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not 100% sure what getting 4th gets you in the bracket. So in terms of if they'll be able to
it's 100 the top 4. 60, I think 40, then 25.
So they really need to get themselves to the top. They got to win it, essentially.
Yeah,
or
third
get into second. So they're going to be facing against Burrito. Wolves have a tall task ahead, but it could be possible, especially with the new legendary system, if they can come up with some cool new strategies and maybe take advantage of some things these players aren't ready for, they might have themselves a chance. Timber Mill and Ice Mines are banned out. Frog Isle will be where game number 1 takes place.
Still standard here in terms of the bans. Didn't expect that to change much. Given the legendary system, I expect more changes to be heard and echoed throughout the draft here. The big question is, will something be picked up over Makoa? Will something else be prioritized? A couple of things we've been hearing about. Androxus, Buck, and Ying are all very much stronger now with the addition of the legendaries. And the Wolves, they go with the first pick, Ying.
Unbelievable. This is the first for us. But, of course, if you're familiar with Ying, how she's been performing lately, the legendary that allows her to use basically her illusions to heal 2 people at the same time, gives her basically double throughput in terms of her healing. It is incredibly strong. So that is taken as the first pick. But Burrito with the first pick, Torvald.
Wow.
It has to,
what?
This is wild.
I'm so excited for today now.
And Buck. Look at this. Bounce House Buck coming through.
So I wonder what they're going to be taking with Torvald, because it could be the Field Study Legendary, which when using protection on an ally, that ally gains 40% increased damage for the duration of the bubble, whether it be destroyed or it just times out at that 2-second mark. Wolves responding with the Shaolin and the Makoa.
Makoa finds himself falling a little bit in the draft.
He looks upset.
He looks upset. He's got to get humbled,
I don't like it down here.
You were trying to look cool in the parking lot earlier, and then an acorn hit your face.
That was, yeah.
And so Makoa, now he's got to get humbled as well. He needs to make sure that he still knows he's just a champion like every other one in the realm. But Drogos finds himself solidified on the side of Burrito for now. They've got one more pick before Wolves Esports finishes their lineup, and Burrito can counterpick at the very end. Grok getting picked up.
Okay.
Nick, you're excited about this one.
I love Grok. But I'm wondering is, because Burrito have run Grok as kind of a bruiser before, so I don't know if this Grok is going to be the sole support for Burrito. And another big question is, Maldamba's still, you know, number 2 now under Ying. Is it Pip with the double potion, the mega potion? Could it be Grover?
Yep.
With some of the other synergies he's bringing to the table with his crippling throw now, applying a root?
Here's the Pip, and that is really looking to lock it down. And Burrito, if they're going for another healer, they have Maldamba, they have the Grover, they can counterpick. That's a great counterpick to be able to say, do we want a little bit more CC from range? Do we want a little bit more damage? What map are we playing on? Obviously, Frog Isle gives a lot of strength to Grover when he's picked up. Maldamba, that Dread Serpent, still powerful no matter how you want to slice it. This is going to be very interesting. I mean, just going into what legendaries these players could be playing is you can go on for hours and hours. But these lineups here, not traditional.
There's only so much we can speculate on, guys. Let's go ahead and head on into game here. See what the legendaries they're running. Sleepy on the Ying will be running lifelike, so this is where the illusions can target 2 allies instead of 1. Mutustiina on Ruckus will be running Flux Generator. So now Repulsor Field did see a change where it can be used off the point, but only at half effectiveness. This makes it so it will be doubly as effective on the point. Traditionally, Pluck is the standard combo damage for Makoa there, just 80% more damage after hooking that target. And Recurve draws your bow 15% faster. This is the base standard legendary for Shaolin that everyone gets, just a little bit more attack speed there. And Catalyst is similar to the base combo that Pip used to have.
And here, Bounce House Buck coming on Leminate. That's going to be dangerous. The Maelstrom.
Yeah, buddy.
The area CC for bonkar. Laizy going for the direct shot on the Drogos. And we'll have to follow along with Field Study, of course, the 40% extra damage and the healing Spirit chosen from Mending Spirits. So Maldamba can give a little bit of extra healing to his teammates here. Following along, Drogos in the back line with the extra 50% damage from direct hits. It's going to be a monster if he's able to stay as accurate as possible. But you know, Laizy, he's not known for being lazy with his aim. He's one of the most accurate players in the game here. Still no kills on the board. Ying keeping Wolves alive, but Respa gets the first kill on the Leminate, who just might have overextended. A great hook by NTBees is going to put Laizy into the dirt. And with 72% here for Burrito, Wolves get 2 kills and find themselves now in command.
They put themselves in a decent spot here, but Wolves did a good job staying together, not letting Leminate get into that backline and ruin things for them. Simsiloo does take down bonkar on the Grok, so he's going to be a little bit staggered from the rest of his team. 72%, like we mentioned, for Burrito, though, so they put themselves in a good spot initially off the team fight here. They're going to have to wait for bonkar for a strong retake potential here. Laizy getting already hooked out and not quite taken down. He really needs to stay alive in this situation.
Torvald over there wanting to shield up his teammates, but it's no time left on the table for him. The planet will go ahead and secure it despite the Tempest coming through from bonkar on Grok. Respa in the back line with that 15% extra, basically attack speed, is just doing work with this Shaolin on a 3 streak. And Wolves taking command of this game. You know, you have to ask, Nick, that early poke damage, that early poke battle, it was so influential that Wolves were able to pick up the Ying. We could see why, just because she was healing 2 teammates there, they were all able to stay alive and eventually win that. That's a lot of the value that she brings, especially on this map.
Yeah, it makes it so difficult, right? Because you look at a character like Grok, who's running that Maelstrom Shock Pulse style build, just to get a lot of poke damage on everyone. Ying is so good against that. It's exactly the type of healing that she is designed to deal with this lifelike legendary, just healing up everyone who's taking a lot of poke. Laizy goes in for the Dragon Punch, lands it, gets taken down here. And this is the kind of fight that Burrito wants, though. With this flank pressure, with this bruiser Grok, they are in a good spot to take this. They have Torvald shielding everyone that goes deep, giving Leminate 40% more damage as she's jumping around in this back line, keeping him safe throughout his poke war.
I mean, that turns Buck into a 3,000 health monster, into a 5,000 health monster. It is extremely hard to deal with him. And of course, the 2,000 is shielding, and that goes a little faster if you have Wrecker, but still, it's effectively a huge buff to somebody who already is very tanky in general. And he's getting that 40% damage, which Buck had to give up to take Bounce House. Essentially, he's same old Buck again without needing to get the bonus damage on that shot. It's just whenever that protection bubble comes up. Leminate, though, not able to to stall this defense any longer. Wolves slowly creeping their way with the Ying healing, trying to make an attempt to come back and push this game into a 2-0. Such a huge advantage for them. Burrito still on the back end of things.
bonkar constantly landing these shots with that Maelstrom Legendary. Each tick of that Grok staff weapon reduced the cooldown of Shock Pulse by 0.1. He's just throwing a bunch of them out there, trying to keep everyone poked out, but 2 picks for 0 so far. Wolves taking this fight.
Really good ultimate as well from Pip, using the evil mojo. I love the way that he chose to do that. He didn't hold on to it, just said, let's get a kill, let's get 2 kills. Sometimes that is the most valuable thing, and it throws them off rhythm. A lot of these teams in the higher levels of Paladins want to wait, they want to group, they want to all be together to make sure that their game plan goes the way they're planning. But if you just take one kink out of the armor, it all starts to fade away. Leminate gets a kill onto Respa. Some nice direct shots from Laizy. A fire spit coming through is going to hit the Ying clones, and now he's focusing on the Pip. He's looking for one more. Can't find it though. Ying keeping him nice and healthy. Laizy's going to go down to Mutustiina, and overtime is ticked away.
Sleepy staying alive through all of this. Had to retreat onto the low ground though, so he won't be able to support his team any further, and they begin to fall without this Ying healing. Respa takes down Leminate, but Burrito, they get the zone they need, they get the hold, they tie things up 1-1.
Burrito hoping to see some damage come out from the Grok and from the Buck. Taking a look at some of these builds and items, Nick, we're seeing resilience come out quite a lot on the side of Wolves.
Yep, a lot of resilience here, just trying to reduce crowd control from things like the slow from Grok will be affected by this, the net shot. You're looking at the silence from Torvald. You're looking at the fear duration from the Dread Serpent, as well as a lot of rejuvenates coming out for Wolves Esports, trying to keep themselves healthy because they know with the Ying on their side, there's going to be a lot of Cauterize coming out from Burrito. We see Cauterize 2 on the Buck, Cauterize 2 on bonkar as well. Laizy has the Dragon Punch this time now. I would like to see him take out Ying, but it's so risky. Unless you know Dimensional Link is down, it is a very difficult decision to make to try and go for that Ying. Unless she just blinked to one of her clones and you punch a clone and nothing happens.
It's a very risky decision, and sometimes risky business is what is needed to get the result, especially when things are against the wire. Right now, NTBees tries to blink into a Dread Serpent and immediately gets speared out. Laizy with a direct shot, thanks to his legendary, is going to take down Ruckus in the fight, and he's looking for a few more. Not enough pressure under the Drogos here. This does not look good for Wolves Esports. They've got to focus down Laizy, especially with this talent, and there goes Respa. SunCommander, see ya later, he says, as he uses the Hyper Beam from Torvald to secure it up. Burrito in control now, 42%.
Ooh, SunCommander just able to get over the railing there, trying to get out of combat, trying to heal up, but there is a Ruckus there, baiting himself out. Dragon Punch coming through, hits a clone!
Wow.
And gets taken down. Simsiloo credited for that kill. NTBees finds the pick on the Laizy as well.
And that is what we were talking about, Nick. That just swung this fight. A huge ultimate. Laizy was counting on picking up a big body, a Ruckus. NTBees on the Makoa. He wasn't able to reach Mutustiina or NTBees as a result of the great placement of the Ying clone and just the body blocking, the awareness that the other players had to use that to their advantage. Great hook. Laizy goes down for a second time in a row, and this is not looking good for Burrito. They turn into chickens here. They just try to get the Torvald out, and they end up doing so. Mutustiina on auto fire here. Use the repulsor field to keep everyone up, and this is just looking like a guaranteed 2-1, and it is for Wolves Esports.
Sleepy coming through with the double kill there in that engagement, and again another payload goes to Wolves, but as this healing hopefully starts to fall off a little bit later and later, it's so difficult to try and shut down this Ying. Being able to heal 2 targets is so difficult to get the cauterized coverage that you need to come out on top of these team fights.
Great shots by Respa there, and Laizy follows up with an even better salvo to get himself back in rhythm. It died a couple of times. Now trying to say, hey, I need to get back here. My team is counting on me. This DPS that I have, this area damage, this direct shot damage that I went for is extremely impactful. I'm finding a lot of value on these open maps as well. Taking that fire spit talent, allowing him to really, affect the team with the damage over time. It guarantees vision as well. But this direct damage, he really has to stay in this fight. He's got to focus the tanks, and Ruckus usually an easy one to do so. bonkar goes down, and Laizy just not able to find the space to impact his teammate and help him stay alive.
Gets a lot of good poke damage out, and again, Shock Pulse is a great tool for dismounting, forcing Wolves to have to walk the distance here on Frog Isle to return to the payload, just burning precious seconds off the clock. So important to do while you're on defense. Another Dragon Punch ready to go. Laizy finding a lot of damage, and your ult charge is based on how much damage you are doing, point for point here. And so with this Fusillade talent, things are going to be stacking up quicker for Laizy.
Incredibly strong ultimate for the Dread Serpent, just to just to make sure no one gets any ideas. But Respa, he's got all of them. He's got all the answers here. Mutustiina and Respa just running riot on Burrito at this point. It is looking dangerous, Nick, for them. There's 48 seconds that they have left. They're doing an incredibly strong zone. Leminate goes down. And Mutustiina and squad have a Ruckus with Repulsor Field. They've got a Ying with those clones. They've got a full lineup of a tank ready, and they don't have bonkar ready to contend. This is a 3-1. Oh my goodness, Wolves Esports going in.
bonkar just got deleted, and Grok's is a tanky character. He's got, I think, 2,700 health at base. bonkar getting the Cauterized 2 online, Leminate as well, but doesn't look like any Cauterized 3s will be coming through, whereas Mutustiina has the Cauterized 3 online, Simsiloo has the Cauterized 3 online, Sleepy has the Cauterized 2 online, so there is a ton of anti-healing coming out of this Wolves Esports squad. And you look at Burrito have a lot of healing. They have the Buck, they have the Bird, they have bonkar. All of these characters pump out good amounts of healing, you know, especially bonkar is one that you don't want to definitely sleep on the Grok totem at all. And they do have 3 ultimates available to them, but the Dragon Punch has to find hopefully the Ying this time.
Yeah, and that is extremely important. If that can change the fight, as we've seen so many times before, it will be in all Burrito's favor. Laizy, very fortunate to land a 1275 direct shot onto somebody, but that's going to get healed up right away from the Ying. He hits another couple of standard direct shots, and this is very important. This is what he needs to do. This is what he built for, and this is what he has to have in his game plan. Hits 1 or 2, and that's great. bonkar stays alive, and now the snowball could be real. Leminate gets 2. They can't focus on everyone, and Burrito again take the first point, but they haven't killed the tanks, Nick. Despite the pressure they've had, they haven't gotten those big bodies down in the front, and especially not the Ying.
He's holding the Dragon Punch for a very long time. Laizy actually goes down. He used it earlier in that fight. He could have gotten a tank staggered, 54% on the point for Burrito, but 2 return picks for Wolves as they are now coming back 5 strong.
Wow, and then the Torvald not able to stay alive. Again, you talk about these combinations of team members and the drafting, and you talk about, you know, hey, of course, they've got a lot of shields, they've got the Ying, but what's very important here, Laizy finally finding the Dragon Punch, but they need to provide enough space for the Torvald to really impact as their solo front liner. The Grok's almost doing a flanking job, and he uses the Ghost Walk, and that's a perfect time for Mutustiina to help his team with a Hexafire. Leminate gets turned into a chicken before going down, and the Hyper Beam is not enough to finish things off completely. There's a Dread Serpent. They're looking to find some answers. Again, it helps to fear out the Ruckus, and he's looking to just recharge his shields, but SunCommander can't get them back up in time. Ying goes down, Laizy's a target, and Wolves Esports get the victory over Burrito. GG.
A solid victory at that, 4-1. Wow. The guys of Burrito, they had the Ancient Rage available to stall out, and everyone from Burrito was near the point, but nobody was actually on the point to contest and send it into overtime.
Let's take a look at the scores and see where things went right for Wolves and where things went wrong for Burrito. You see Sleepy there, 134,000 healing, blowing Birds, Maldamba, blowing bonkar's Grok out of the water, but bonkar is Grok, 82,000 damage, Nick. I mean, he was their carry.
Second only to Laizy, sitting at 113k, but he was just free firing into tanks, and it felt like it really wasn't doing anything. There was just so much healing coming out of the Ying. Laizy cranking, you know, 1,100 damage rockets into these tanks time and time again, fire spits over and over. Yeah. But it was just, they were bending, but they just couldn't break them. The back of Sleepy's healing, and Ying is a character in a lot of cases would get out healed by Maldamba in the past, in the previous patches, and now with this lifelike legendary just coming out and straight doubling him.
Absolutely. Let's see if we can take a look at the maps for game 2 and where Burrito try to crawl their way back into the series. It's not often I get to say that. Stonekeep up next for these two teams. Wolves Esports have a 4-1 lead against the best team in Europe, so to speak. Of course, the winners of the Paladins Invitational. A lot of teams fighting for that title now, but Wolves coming through, really making a claim. They have everything that they want. This is so important to them. Burrito's already qualified, right?
Yep. And so playing with a sub.
You have to look at the mentality here, too. They're already qualified. They're playing with a sub. Wolves need to win if they're going to make it into the Masters. They're hungry. So I could see a very good thing here, but Burrito take the first big Ying. Let's see how much of an impact that is for their team here.
Yeah, that's going to be the telling factor, right? And Bird is a phenom of a Ying player. Yeah. So if anyone's going to be able to do something crazy with it, it's him, or if we'll just see if it is just that easy with this Life legendary to just put out that crazy output. And that's kind of the average that I've been seeing as I've played with it as well. About 10,000 a minute in game. That was a 13-minute game, about 130k healing on the board. Wolves answer back, though, with the double frontliner, Ruckus and Makoa.
Now, I think another thing that to me struck me as important is that the Ruckus with the Ying made it so hard to kill the Ying, but to kill the tanks.
Yeah, the damage reduction was there.
I mean, the 60% damage reduction. I
mean,
and
even 30 off the point.
Yeah.
Right? That's having a big impact. So that's the biggest change to that repulsor field. It used to be 50% AoE damage reduction for your team on the point, and it was a buff. Now it's an aura, so basically you have to stay around Ruckus. On top of this, it's been changed to where you can use it off the point for 30%, but in the previous game we saw Mutustiina pick up that legendary to where if he is on the point, it will double the effectiveness of Repulsor Field to 60%, effectively giving it a 10% net buff.
And for Frog Isle, that's what they want. That was the kind of the composition.
It's open. They have to just
sit
there and be open.
And with the Ying, though, and with Stone Keep, the tiered layers that they have, you see the Pip come out, you see the Maldamba come out. They've got some healing there. I wonder if Ruckus and then will be content to sit, or if we'll see him take a little bit more of the mobility direction, getting those 3 dashes now instead of the 2, maybe trying to climb some of that vertical space as Fernando and Grover come out.
Yeah, and so they're not taking the Torvald at all this time, right?
Yeah.
This time they're going for that Fernando and the Grover as well. It'll be interesting to see what legendaries they go for. Probably going to see, I don't want to say bonkar on the Fernando, but it feels like who's going to fill Theo's shoes today?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
SunCommander doesn't traditionally play those types. It is Laizy there on the Fernando. Leminate's going to be on Ying running the lifelike. Bonkar, it looks like, will be on Drogos. Has selected a Fusillade, so 50% damage on his direct shot. SunCommander on Shaolin. Recurve, drawing his bow 50% faster. Scorch, so the standard fireball damage combo there for Laizy, and Bird running the crippling throw, now also Roots.
And that's really, really strong. Healing a target again. Spirit's chosen. We're seeing this just adding to the heals. He's going for the repulsor field build again with Flux Generator. Wants that to be powerful for them against some damage mitigation. Pluck, again, just going for the bonus damage to try and secure those low health targets when he picks them. Wormhole getting picked up by Respa on Eevee. That'll be important to see. He's got 4 seconds now. And again, Catalyst for Simsiloo, pretty standard. He had a fantastic pip game. And here comes the salvo to start things off. A great job by bonkar to just get a lot of damage off onto the team. And SunCommander already finds a kill onto Simsiloo. bonkar misses the fire spit, but it's okay. The direct shots are just thwarting any plans that they have. And great heads up by bonkar to avoid Eevee blinking in onto him. He's going to die now thanks to Respa, but SunCommander and his squad have definitely taken a good advantage here. Burrito looking strong in
I bet you that Dragon got 15 to 20,000 damage already. SunCommander with a beautiful double kill, but Simsiloo with the read. Hits him through stealth here, just waiting for the dimensional link, trying to get the read. Respa doesn't find it though. Leminate will stay on the low ground. Bird on this Grover, keeping himself healthy. Very tanky character as well. Respa's pretty caught out right now. Has to wait for that blink cooldown and still narrowly escapes with that Fernando dot ticking away.
And you know, we saw Respa focusing on killing at the illusions, Nick. That is another route to do so. The illusions are pretty tanky, especially if you add some health to them in your cards. But being able to just eliminate the source of healing is another option to go. We don't see Bulldozer taken. I would be very curious to see if players started shifting that direction if they just can't combat the actual output of healing with Cauterize. SunCommander takes a kill on NTBees. Simsiloo finally takes down Bird, but bonkar gets the kill on Mutustiina. So both tanks on the side of Wolves Esports go down, and Burrito Esports 99% and in total control. Wow! Nice. Direct shot coming out from bonkar seals the deal. That's 1-0 for Burrito.
That's a beautiful target switch coming out from bonkar there. He's charging up his Dragon Punch, clearly looking for that Makoa. But as Makoa starts to fall lower and lower, he's only sitting at about 10% as bonkar was about to get there. Quickly veers around him, goes and gets the Ruckus, who was full HP. So beautiful job getting value there, and Laizy dancing, feeling confident as the Burrito take the first payload.
And Ruckus is very vulnerable to Fusillade. The direct shots on Ruckus from blasters, specifically, and that's AoE damage dealers. That's Eevee, that's Bomb King, that's Drogos, have always been powerful, but just increasing that damage by 50% means that 1275 on a stationary target like Ruckus is going to hurt. And they don't have the Ying to keep them up this time. The repulsor field will help to mitigate that. And that's probably why he's chosen that here. The fireball damage from Laizy. He's looking to be offensive when he can. The shell shield pop by Makoa. Does want to stay alive. Uses the charge. Gets a little bit of damage. Now he gets 2 really low. Respa's in trouble. The dot on him as well. Double kill for Laizy with Fernando in the front line. I would expect an emote coming out very, very soon. With 1 minute and 26 seconds left. Burrito are 2-0 here on Stone Keep.
Just 4 for 0 there at the end. Bird picking up a kill. Bonkar picks up one as well. So all the momentum on the side of Burrito right now, definitely in favor of them on the net worth charts here. And that's going to spell disaster for these shields. We saw them go down fairly quickly already to the Drogos with the record 1. Now he's got record 2 online. 150% increased damage. SunCommander on the Shaolin as well as the record 2 online. Laizy, Cauterized 2 already ready to go. Bird, we haven't seen a Whirlwind come out from him yet. It is ready to go. Every ultimate except Dragon Punch is ready for Burrito, but Bonkar and Laizy in the past game as well have been getting these Dragon Punch charged up extremely quickly.
And we could follow along with Laizy here, with Bird, as he continues to stay alive. He's on a 4 streak right now. He's got the root, which means his crippling throw will root enemies. It won't just cripple, it will leave them in place for a moment. If you buy resilience, you can mitigate that. A huge play up top already. Bird takes a big shot, but not a lot of kills except on the Laizy come out. There's the root. Pip is in trouble, but he's actually going to stay alive here. And the one in trouble is Bird, who gets taken down by Mutustiina on the point. SunCommander yet, though, on the Shaolin, follows up on a Simsiloo, but Respa and Wolves clean the rest of this fight up, so 66%. Bird not able to get to his teammates in time before the damage was done. A great Evil Mojo coming out from fifth.
Respa did a great job as well, and 93% on the point for Wolves as Burrito try to get back in, try to contest in some fashion. There's the Dread Serpent, though, in combination with the Hexafire. It's going to take down Bonkar and Laizy. SunCommander is going to be able to answer back. Bird's trying to stall things out with his ultimate, but I just don't see it getting it done.
He's got to make some plays here. It's really up to SunCommander and his squad. Goes into the planet, tries to find some damage, doesn't get enough. Uses Withdraw to stay alive and out of sight. And look at that Simsiloo just keeping the pressure up on top. And he's now looking towards the bottom. The healing is impressive, but will he find a way to avoid the Dragon Punch? They won't. Laizy with his Bonkar with his last act of defiance takes down NTBees, no Makoa, and Burrito stave off the objective capture for at least a moment.
Against all odds, Bird and Leminate stall it out long enough. Laizy comes roaring back in with that Immortal to make sure that they stay alive. The Dragon Punch is there as well, and now Wolves are on the back foot. Laizy's falling low, but he does have the shield available to him, sitting in front of this Ruckus, just trying to disrupt for as long as he can, and actually finds the kill. Leminate and Bird getting it done here on the healers.
The Ying healing so important as well when you add that to Grover. Look at this chicken healing back up. They can't take him down. That is the strongest chicken in the realm, and he stays alive. And Burrito's hopes for finishing this game off 4-0 stay alive. They're going to capture this point 3-0.
That's got to hurt if you're Wolves. That's got to hurt really bad.
Chicken.
If two healers, though, 2 healers stall out, 3 members plus from your team, you're unable to pressure out finding a Grover or a Ying pickup in time. And it was a beautiful start to that fight from Respa, who was able to cut off Bird from the rest of his team, make them susceptible to that Evil Mojo follow-up. And from then on, it was against all odds, but Burrito show why they are the #1 team in Europe.
Well, you know, if Laizy would have hit that from underneath the bridge, I would have said, you are a god, because that's just actually not physically possible in this game. There's the Dread Serpent coming through. NTBees finds a kill onto Laizy, and that started it all, Nick. They took down the Fernando, and that was pretty crucial to the game plan. The Immortal, the buying of the time, the shield, being able to get healed up, and have to break through the shield, then break through the extra healing, and of course, keep him in place before he charges away to do it all over again. But when they're able to use these Evil Mojos, I feel like that's what this team, Simsiloo has been carrying this squad with some really great Evil Mojos that have just isolated single targets, given them the 4v5 advantage, and allowed them to stay in this game, but it hasn't mattered. Burrito's team synergy has been able to adapt and put coverage on that.
This team just feels so deep to me right now. Everyone feels like they can play everything, but they have such crazy rosters coming out. Here's the final push potentially from Burrito. The Whirlwind to keep everyone alive through Hexafire down into Planet, but a big chunk of that damage was mitigated. Here's the Ancient Rage as well, so Wolves are putting everything on the line to try and keep this game going.
And look at the healing coming out. Laizy almost just he's going to use the Immortal here. Still going to get healed up thanks to the Ying. They got to finish him off, and look at that, the Ying keeping him alive. There's there's the Dread Serpent, but I still don't know if they can finish off Laizy. The healing coming out from this Ying is absolutely incredible. Laizy still alive here. The damage over time, not going to kill anyone. Ying, can she clean it up herself? She's known for healing, not doing damage, but there's Leminate. He's taking the game into his own hands as well as SunCommander, and that's all she wrote. That's the game. Burrito Esports tie things up.
Buying a serious amount of time there, Laizy on the front line with this double healer, keeping him alive as his backliners weren't under as much pressure there. Wolves were forced into a bad spot. They have to fight around the payload. They've got bonkar and SunCommander just laying into them the whole time, and it was able to be outlasted. The sustain was not enough from Wolves, and the damage numbers coming through from Burrito were absolutely colossal. 92,000 in a 10-minute game on this Drogoz. bonkar showing that he can take to the skies just as well.
That was a very strong Drogoz game. Again, I think one of the bigger signs of this is the one death on Leminate, right? It's not even that Ying's healing is so astronomically powerful, it just in general. It's the fact that she's so survivable that she can continue to get very good healing off for the entire period of time. That's really, I think, if Pip just never died, I mean, he would have pretty good healing numbers as well, but he usually plays aggressively. He usually gets picked off in these fights. But I think the fact that she's so hard, the dimensional link, it's so hard to track. She puts the clones up, and of course, just the healing on top of that makes her just such a difficult target. Leminate able to stay alive, keep that push alive, and SunCommander and him able to clean things up at the end.
Yep. Do want to shout out Respa, though, on Wolves Esports. 11-6, 58,000 damage on the Eevee. Was creeping up on SunCommander's Shaolin, even being on the losing side, even getting 4-0'd. Still was able to put out a massive amount of damage on his Eevee. So Jaguar Falls will be the selection for game number 3. Burrito with the chance to, either team with the chance to go up 2-0 at this point, but Burrito with the momentum on their side.
It's going to be an interesting game, deciding a lot of things. Wolves Esports, they need this to be able to have a chance to make it into the next phase and qualify as the top 4. And of course, Burrito, they're already qualified for the next phase leading up to the Masters land in April. And so they definitely don't have as much. And Wolves, I wonder if taking that loss, they're still going to be able to bounce back from this. We know they've had the hard start, the excitement to start this round, but will they keep it up? Will they be able to adjust now that Burrito seem to have found their rhythm? And this time, Wolves get the Ying. That could be crucial here.
Yes, but how does Burrito respond? Have they figured it out? Do they know what they want to do against it this time? Last time they only had that Sovo Torvald, so will they switch up their draft a little bit here to try and counter that out slightly better? They do take the Drogoz and the Ruckus away, so Wolves still with the chance at the Makoa.
I like that, though. They take away the Ruckus, which is kind of what Wolves and Mutustiina have been leaning on a little bit. You can tell it's a very big part of their strategy. Even with the Ying or without the Ying, they decide to pick it up. So Burrito say, we'll play that just fine, and we'll take the counter away to it, which is the Drogoz, we feel. Shaolin getting picked up by Wolves, so they do take that away from SunCommander, who had a good game on that in Burrito. And feeling pretty confident on how Respa performed with the Eevee.
Absolutely. He had a phenomenal game despite, being down on the back foot for the majority of that game. Eevee kind of can do well in any situation. She doesn't have to live and die with the team fight. She kind of, is independent. She can sustain very well for herself with Flicker and Wormhole combination. But Burrito go with the early Maldamba, I think.
Yeah, it's relatively early. They feel pretty confident in that. This is somebody we expected to see a long time ago. I think Androxus not being in any of these games has been a little interesting. I think they've been more focused on the Ying rather than how to counter that. I think the Androxus as well, a good counter to the Drogoz, and we didn't see necessarily Wolves feel confident in that, but because Burrito, I think in their lineup, we're just focused more on point clear. They didn't go for Androxus. But he's going to bring the Accursed Arm. That could help in terms of getting down these Ying clones, getting down the point really quickly. But they're going to have to go through a Makoa and a Torvald. So if they grab a Fernando here, it could be tough for him.
Yeah, they could have, again, picking up the Maldamba when Wolves already have the Ying, I mean, that is more than enough healing, right? You don't need a second healer. They probably wouldn't have gone for a second healer. And Makoa was still on the table. The big dog that's been at the top of the draft for so long doesn't get snagged away and given up to Wolves.
Well, look at this. I mean, they go for Rock, and we would expect
maybe it's an issue of comfort, right? They don't have Theo today.
That's right. That's right.
There is no Theo to be able to play this Makoa. Mutustiina going to be going with Recurve here on Shaolin. Field Study, so protection, giving that damage amp for Torvald. Pluck, just bonus damage off of the Dredge Anchor. Wormhole once again for Respa on the Eevee, and Sleepy once again with the Lifelike as Ying.
Leminate going to go for Darkstalker. This is a big one. We'll talk about that a little later. Fusillade consistently for Laizy. Flux Generator as well, pretty consistent for Ruckus as we've seen in this set. Spirit's Chosen once more for Maldamba, and this time for bonkar. He will continue to run Maelstrom, just using the shock pulses to really CC his opponents and add a lot of damage. You can expect him to be more of like a carry for his team. But with Darkstalker, Nick, that's one of the things that they've said with Androxus has been one of the stronger legendaries in the game. The ability to not have to ever not have a dash, to always be mobile and not have your opponent know how mobile you are at any given time. It's made him a very strong pick.
Leminate, so dangerous on this character already. The benefit of that charge system is you always have one off cooldown, like you said. So he's always going to have something available to him, but Impale going to be off the mark, and Ruckus able to escape with his life for now. 20% already for objective Burrito.
Mutustiina just shoulder peeking here and trying to find an answer to this Ruckus, but still getting hit with one shot, and
Nice
that's going to finish it off. Leminate in the background, just doing what he needs to do and getting a kill already. Starting things off well for Burrito, and Leminate still in the back line, facing off onto the Eevee. He grabs another one as the Androxus, and look at this. Got 2 charges available, just going to poke from distance, heal up as well, and that's another component. Androxus, the ability to sustain with this card is very, very strong. He doesn't actually have to tick into out of combat regen. He can just dash and dash and dash and eventually be back at full health with his loadout.
Laizy's quadrupling everyone's ult charge right now. 80% already on the Dragon Punch, and 99% for Burrito, but they have to back off for the time being. Simsiloo's Torvald shield is taken completely down. Big whipped hook there as well, and here comes the Dragon Punch right on the mark.
That could be punished here. They take down Sleepy, huge. Laizy gets the healer down, which they were just running so much of this team comp around, and I can expect a snowball if I've ever seen one. That's one more shot from bonkar. SunCommander gets 2, and you see how it all falls apart when they don't have that sustain there. And of course, Laizy feeling very happy with himself to have landed that Dragon Punch that he so eagerly wanted a while back.
I'm loving seeing Leminate on the Androxus as well. We didn't see a lot of flank pressure, frankly, coming out on Frog Isle when he was running the buck. It's very telegraphed, wide open. You can see the buck coming from a mile away. Here on Jaguar Falls, though, there's a lot of line of sight breaks. You can see how close he's able to sneak up on Wolves. He sees this Shaolin here, and boom, he's at perfect fallout range. Almost takes out the Shaolin before he even realizes it's happening. So anyone that's poked low by Laizy is almost dead to rights because of Leminate.
And if you see Leminate here, he knows Maldamba can heal him up, so he doesn't need to dash and leave those off cooldown. But now Leminate goes in, uses the reversal as a frontliner, and basically gets stunned out of it, unfortunately, by Shaolin. The Impaler arrow was right on the money from Wolves, and Respa and the squad of Wolves Esports will seriously just end that attempt at pushing the payload. There's 1 minute and 28 seconds left. Burrito just kind of caught by losing Leminate there off a great Shaolin Impale, and it snowballed everything.
Yeah, Respa, great Ice Storm as well to zone out any sort of reinforcements from Burrito, as well as a beautiful blink over the wall to take out Laizy as he was trying to exit stage right. But now, coming back 5 strong, laying in the salvo damage a little bit, trying to get that Dragon Punch charged back up. He's already at 70%. Almost ready for his second ultimate of the game, where most champions still have yet to use their first.
And if he can continue to find value from it, it will be huge. There's the accursed arm. It's ice blocked and dimensional link, and that's what we're talking about with Ying so hard to make sure you confirm the kills, because she just uses that ability to get away from you for the time being and heal back up. Laizy, though, slays 2, but Respa follows up onto the tank SunCommander. They don't have anyone else to truly frontline, and this is going to lift Simsiloo and his squad with a lot of pressure to push them backwards. However, still on the point is bonkar. He's going to ghost walk away, but Respa's hot on his tail, and they do end up cleaning him up. To Makoa finishing the deed.
Impale into the wall, though, by Mutustiina, takes out Laizy. 18 seconds remain for Burrito, and after dropping Laizy and already having to be waiting for a reinforcement to come back, I don't know if they'll have another good shot at this here. They're missing some key ultimates as well. Dread Serpent and Accursed Arm aren't going to be off the mark. It looks like they are going to go and try and at least get this overtime started. SunCommander a little bit caught out. Popstar Pulsar Field getting massive damage mitigation, but none of Burrito able to help get their follow up. Laizy picks up a double kill. But again, 1-to-1 here. A couple of key ultimates off the board for Burrito, whereas Wolves have everything at their disposal ready to go.
And you know, you saw SunCommander there. He went to the point, but he took too much damage on the way there. He couldn't really get a lot of value from the repulsor field because his health was already so low. That's some of the things you give up when you decide to go for the extra legendary that gives you that repulsor field mitigation, and you don't take the 3 dashes, which gives you a ton of mobility, which gives you the ability to avoid that damage while you get to the point. It's a very interesting compromise, but it's been working thus far.
As well as giving up Hexafires off the top rope.
That's right.
Charging Trice straight up into the air and then out.
And that's what's going to win you a game right there. I'm
Absolutely.
sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but that just is
when you're already qualified, you got to go for the style.
You have to. However, though, they're going for the style of trying to win this game here on Jaguar Falls. And Simsiloo in the background just trying to use his recharge to actually steal the shields of Ruckus's emitter. He's going to force him out right now and just give him and NTBees a little bit of room, but Laizy still ultimate charged and ready to go and doing damage as usual to finish off the team. And bonkar goes ahead and gets the first kill of the fight.
Ice blocked out. Needs to find one more rocket, but Respa takes him down before going down to SunCommander. 27% and climbing for Burrito Esports. 24 for Wolves, but they did lose one of the key components of their team fight in that Makoa, and Eevee going down as well. They had to give up the zone to Burrito.
SunCommander feeling confident, but that's exactly what you want as NTBees. He activates the repulsor field, but here comes the Maelstrom. It's going to give movement speed and actually slow enemies around him and heal up his allies in the process. Drops the healing totem to make sure that healing comes through. Just trying to provide enough room for Laizy to take down a target, and he does take down Mutustiina, but Leminate takes down 2 more, and what that means is Burrito Esports are 2-1 up over Wolves.
And I'm liking this. They're staying alive. Burrito, their team comp doesn't really fall off, I would say, as hard as Wolves does. The Torvald is very heavily countered by the Wrecker. Ying is heavily countered by Cauterize, but still the verdict is out as to whether or not it's going to be better just to try and kill the clones or Cauterize the main target that you're trying to burst. So 2 minutes remain on the payload here, and Burrito, they're in a good spot to take this game.
Big time shots by Leminate, not falling under pressure as well, keeping the aim and the hand steady and his sight steady as well on the goal, which is to move forward and win this week. I know they've already qualified, but you know that their pride will not let them fall so easily. Wolves Esports still a huge task ahead of them here to break the top dogs. It is 1-1. The next team to win this one is going to move ahead in the series and find themselves 1 win away from moving on to the finals. Fire Spit available. He's not going to use it yet. He gets the kill on the NTBees, and that's what he wanted. Dimensional Link again, but this time Lemonade smells it out and gets the kill onto Sleepy. So no healing, and Laizy's still alive. This is looking good for Burrito.
It's tough. Lemonade with 2 Accursed Arms in roughly the same spot that both really didn't quite find the mark. Taking down Sleepy is just too tall of a task. Nice impale into planted for Mutustiina as well. That's a big stabilization kill for Wolves.
Especially now that Ying is back out into the fight. It's exactly what they needed, and bonkar's the next one that they've got to finish off because he's being so aggressive. Leminate gets a great hook and peel off of Mutustiina as a result of NTBees coming through on the Makoa, saving a life there. And Respa finally now kills Leminate. So they've done what they've needed to stabilize. Use a Dread Serpent in the process, but I don't know how much it's going to get. It doesn't seem like it's caused them any more forward progress. A Maelstrom is used here. Laizy gets stunned out by the SunCommander. By the Shaolin,
the timing
but actually
there.
Gets taken down here is Respa following the takedown by NTBees on the Laizy.
Oh man, the timing of Respa. Maybe he did that, right? Just to save Makoa's HP pool. He un-ice blocked himself just to eat it. Nonetheless, a beautifully timed Dragon Punch. But again, a lot of ultimates coming out from Burrito. Thought they could take that team fight. Now they have nothing left. With 20 seconds left in the round, Wolves are sitting on 3 big ultimates there in the Hyper Beam, in the Heat Haze, in the Ancient Rage. And they are looking in a good spot to stall this one out and put themselves in a favorable position to win the next payload.
Oh, this is huge by NTBees, though. He misses a hook onto SunCommander, and he allows SunCommander to get a lot of damage off in this fight. He's still alive here, and he's still getting healed up. Now he starts to focus on him, but that may not be enough. The Hexafire could come out. It's not ready yet, though, so he doesn't have that as an option, unfortunately. And now, with getting the Gourd on top of him, NTBees is going to go down, and Bird's going to stay alive, help his team to stay healed. The Hyper Beam is here, but I don't think it's going to be enough, especially if the direct damage comes through. There's the Dread Serpent from Bird. Torvald melting under the direct damage, and Burrito move forward 3-1. They pull it off.
Wrecker 3 is melting this Torvald. One or two shotting that shield coming out from the big guy himself. The Hyper Beam wasn't enough. SunCommander was able to keep himself on the map, has the Cauterize 3 available. bonkar has the Cauterize 3. And with how much damage mitigation and healing throughput is coming through between bonkar and Bird, Cauterize 3 is almost necessary from Wolves. They were doing everything they could to try and burn down SunCommander. They were popping the Ancient Rage as well as just shooting him from their backline, and it just wasn't enough. That 60% mitigation on top of all the healing coming out just couldn't get it done, and Bird doing a much better job this time around. Granted, his team is winning this time at keeping up with the Ying.
Absolutely, and you got to remember, though, this game was a little bit more even. I mean, they just got that 3-1. I mean, these are stats from basically a 2-1, round, and so these teams have both fought and kept it alive. Jeez. Still, Maldamba showing that with Spirits Chosen can compete with Ying on a high-level side of things. And bonkar here with this Grok looking to just frag out today. He is definitely wanting to use those shock pulses. This is a great spot for him too, because if he can peek out, he can get a little bit of the shock pulses onto the teammates and just throw them in the CC hell. Respa getting the kill on the Laizy, though, is a great clutch start for Wolves.
Here comes the Tempest as well. bonkar canceling it just to keep himself safe. Hexifire's here as well. Cursed Arm to zone out Respa. Finds decent damage, but if you don't take down an Eevee right away, she's just going to get healed back up and be a problem for you throughout the fight. Mutustiina with a big double as well.
They cannot kill this Ying, and as I say it, Laizy comes in the background with one shot from Fusilon and finishes him off. That's another one-shot kill thanks to the Dragon Punch. So he's looking for one more one-shot kill onto the Eevee. The Fire Spit's no good. He misses the direct shot too, and the Blink will save Respa's life. The Fire Spit just going to zone out for now. Laizy feeling confident. 2 clutch kills from him, and a salvo just to add on top of it. 3 in a row for Laizy, helping to make sure Burrito finished this game off.
Dread Serpent available as well. It's actually going to come out just to zone Wolves out here. They don't want any contest. 99%. No one from Wolves is here. And Burrito find the victory. Beautiful Dread Serpent there at the end from Bird to zone out any would-be overtime starters.
See, I would have, if I was me, I would have probably done it a little earlier, or a little later. I would have thought, like, wait some time. Burrito does it so well because the damage amp, it forces them under the predicament of having to now be super low when they dive in, so it can end that much quicker. But also, it doesn't allow Makoa to shell spin, right? To start overtime. He just anticipates that's what they're going to want to do and beats him to the punch. Bird coming out almost beating the Ying in healing, but not quite, but definitely dying a heck of a lot less, and that was the difference.
Yeah, and that just shows how powerful this lifelike legendary is from Ying. Even with the 5 deaths, was still able to beat out Bird's throughput there on his healer. bonkar 16k healing for him, but he's mostly using that totem for himself. A lot of credits just because bonkar on this Grok is able to get a lot of poke damage out. 61k, keeping up almost with the Ruckus, but Laizy topping everyone on his team, but not in the game. Mutustiina takes the cake on that one. 104,000 damage for the Shaolin.
And you needed him to have that type of performance. That's exactly what they're looking for. Whether it was on the Ruckus or the Shaolin, he seems to be performing at a high level, but against Burrito, who are just masterclass in their strategy, in their approach to games, seem to have figured out how to beat the Ying and how to use the Ying. We cannot yet say the same thing for Wolves, who fall into Burrito now 2 times in a row, with and without Ying.
But with that loss there, I believe Wolves will probably elect to have the first pick, so they could go back to the Ying here. Do they continue to value it? Do they, find fault? I thought they had a good draft out, outside of Ying. Ying's obviously a very strong pickup right now. From what we've seen so far today, NA's always a different story.
Yeah.
But the rest of their draft I thought was good as well. I thought Burrito almost let them have the Makoa because they took that early Maldamba. I don't think Wolves were in a spot where they were looking to take the Maldamba, and Burrito probably could have last picked it and snagged the Makoa, but just a great draft nonetheless from Wolves.
And the next map will be Serpent Beach. But what's important too to discuss, I think, is that going into this draft, we saw Ying first picked, and then first time Burrito didn't pick up the Ruckus. They prioritized other things, and then it allowed the Ying Ruckus to happen on the side of Wolves. This time, the last time Wolves picked Ying, they were able to take the Ruckus for Burrito. So Burrito responded with the Ruckus with the Drogos, and that just seemed to throw them off.
So hard.
That seemed to throw them off there. So if you do the Ying, I expect Burrito again to take away the Ruckus, and we got to see if there's anything else that Wolves can lean on to give them an advantage here in these games.
The Ruckus and the Ying, it makes it very difficult, right? Because you can't, with that damage mitigation from the repulsor field, not only can you not out-damage Ying's healing, but you can't kill her clones as easily either, because the clones are going to be receiving the damage mitigation. You made a good call here. Ruckus immediately picked up for Burrito. Yeah,
that was the Ruckus Drogos, and this is why Burrito are confident in this, because they say, we beat you at this game before. Wolves are going to be, the onus is now on them to change things up and to say, well, you did this to us again. We're now going to bring out something you're not expecting. And I think that's the opportunity here. Wolves know their back is against the line. But here we see a lot of pro players stick to their guns. They don't change what's been not working just because, you know, they lost a couple games. They still kind of go with what they feel is the right way to draft, not trying to surprise Burrito. We'll see if that ends up working, though. They take the Shaolin and Makoa just like last game.
Torvald's still on the table as well. Eevee has been working well for Wolves, but I don't know that they would park. It's very hard to call their draft right now because they have a sub, and you know people are playing things they've never played before to try and fit these new compositions. Leminate probably going to be on this buck. That was the big question mark for me. What flanker are they going to put him on? Would it be the Androxus, who does fairly well on this map, but the buck with the addition of that mobility with the Bounce House legendary, just too good to pass up.
You know, I wouldn't mind. I mean, I just don't think the Torvald was what they needed. I think he did okay, but I think he was just a little bit too vulnerable to the Drogos. You talk about Ruckus being vulnerable. Torvald is extremely vulnerable as well to a Drogos with Wrecker and with Salvo and all of that.
Laizy was two-shotting that Torvald shield.
But I think the Pip is a good choice. I was actually going to bring that up. I think Pip is great. Simsiloo had a lot of success with him. That's what I like to see. I love this happening here. Barrett coming out. This could be, I don't know, I love this draft.
This is how D69 threw Burrito for a loop last week and took them pre-legendaries. They were able to take the win here.
This is a good draft because you have the deployable Nightmare. It's back. You got Daddy Barrack, and you've got
the deployable Crusher. Grok.
You're right, man. The Maelstrom, I mean, that Shock Pulse, it hits deployables.
It is, yeah, it's a talking point, right? Because now Bonkar is always going to have a guaranteed target for his Shock Pulse to bounce into the back of Wolves. He's always going to be able to hit that. He's always going to be able to get those cooldowns reset.
So let's see what they're running here. It seems like Pluck again for Makoa, getting the bonus damage. Again, of course, lifelike for Ying, so it can heal 2 targets at the same time. Her illusions. Recurve for Shaolin, standard practice for him as well. That's a standard legendary. And Catalyst, again, they seem to love this. Simsiloo just wants the extra bonus damage. Turrets are now empowered, though. Architectronics, very interesting. I like Tinkerer for him, but he's going for the stronger turrets.
Spirit's chosen, so the throughput talent here for Bird on the Maldamba Fusillade. More damage on directs for Laizy once again. Bonkar sticking to the Shock Pulse Maelstrom legendary. Going to be just poke damage. The key here, Bounce House, so mobility is the choice for SunCommander on Buck. Leminate actually on Maldamba. Bird on the Ruckus this time. Aerial advance. Hexafire off the top rope. He is also gone for Bulldozer as opposed to Cauterize.
And this is the question. Do you just kill?
Well, with a Barrack in the game, I mean, you gotta.
You have to, right? There's too many things that really work. I love the Master Riding pickup. This is what you want with Barrack. You got to get to your position and get fortified early. He's going for stronger turrets, which means they're hit scan now. And if he's going for the build that allows his turrets to have a little bit more health, he's going to be able to fortify them and stay around them and get healed up by them. As you can see, his health is going back up just a little bit. First blood for Mutustiina, though, onto Leminate, and that's already very strong. But the strength here now is that Burrito have 27% on the point without having to want to win a fight. But now it's almost even, and they have clearly gone on the defensive here. Bird almost down as the Ruckus. In fact, he is. And this is just looking perfect for Daddy Barrack, getting set up, letting the kids go out and play here with Pip chasing away Leminate on the buck.
Mutustiina has been putting out massive damage. As well as Pip, you know, sitting at 79% and 86% on their ultimates means they're landing a lot of shots. They're getting a lot of damage out on this Burrito squad. Laizy just narrowly ahead at 6% on his Drogos.
And a little weird, we see him taking Haven. Usually we see the Wreckers, the Cauterize coming out first, the defense, but he takes the defensive utility item, 7% damage reduction just to mitigate some of the damage, some of these rockets, excuse me, not rockets, but just DPS from Ruckus and of course from Leminate would be doing, and Shaolin, excuse me, the Grok on the Bonkar on the Grok. And of course now it's just all Wolves esports. Their plan has worked. Barrack has gotten set up and he has not died. And this is what you want if you're a Bear player.
Big triple kill from Simsiloo in that last engagement as well. Finding a ton of work with that fire spit. It's going to shred these deployables, especially the ones just sitting ducks on the payload as well. But SunCommander goes down on the Buck. Not having the big impact that a lot of players were thinking that he may have had today.
Absolutely not. And you know, it's one of those interesting things, right? In a casual perspective, he's extremely strong, but with a team who knows how to counter him, with a team who can kind of shut him down, despite having the mobility, he loses that 40% extra damage when he hits you with the net shot. He loses a little bit of extra health when you have the recovery legendary, and those are meaningful choices. It just means that it's not a cakewalk, especially against pros. Despite your mobility, you still have to be able to kill them. And with the Ying keeping those targets alive, Buck just does not have enough DPS very reliably to take her down without her dimensional linking and staying healthy.
A lot of overlapping of the shields right now from Wolves Esports. We saw the Shell Shield and the Barricade come out at nearly the same time. I would like to see a little bit more spacing between these two cooldowns here to buy more time on the front line. Neither Barrick nor Makoa have long duration shields. Fernando is really the longest one in terms of what the tanks can do, and as well as Torvald obviously just always having that ever-present shield. But very important not to overlap your shields is the moral of the story here.
And it's also really important too to know, I mean, more even on the Buck story that we were talking about a moment ago, the fact that Buck is relatively countered by Shaolin is another strong thing, and Mutustiina is having such a strong game on the Shaolin. Probably part of the reason why the Buck is not showing up here. Laizy into the Dragon Punch, looks for one, gonna get hitting a clone, and that is the strength of Ying. However, Respa goes down, that Dome Shield does nothing. A great Evil Mojo by Simsiloo, and they can't pick up a kill. Actually, they will now on the SunCommander. That was all they needed. It just stalled them out, and Mutustiina still going wild here. Almost hits Laizy, but that's a 2-0 for Wolves Esports. Just beautiful play by their team and an excellent execution of their strategy.
I hope Laizy learned his lesson. You can't, unless you know for sure that Dimensional Link, Ying's mobility skill, is down, you cannot afford to go for a Dragon Punch at this level of play. Sleepy is going to Dimensional Link that every single time. Go for a Barrick. Hit the Makoa. You know, those still aren't bad targets. It would be great to get the Ying. Trust me. I know. I understand. I would love to kill the Ying every single time with it, but it's just not going to happen when you have these great Ying players.
Absolutely not. They're already aware. They're saving their Dimensional Link for moments like that. And it seems like everyone is just having their lives saved as well. 8, 11, 14, and 6. Those are numbers that represent kill streaks on the side of Wolves Esports. Respa, the only one to have just recently died. And Shaolin starts out with his Heat Haze, looking for an impale on the Laizy. Not able to do so yet, but is this a kill already? It is! Mutustiina on a 15 kill streak right now. Slays bonkar to get things started. NTBees picks up a double. And in the backline, Shaolin is firing off. Laizy still unable to impact this fight, trying to get a good position, but he gets smelled out now by the Shaolin and Simsiloo, and that is bad news. Bears. Barrick still on the point.
40%, 50%, and climbing. Respa on the Barrick gets that back turret so he has something to fall back to. The healing station mitigation coming through is going to be very important. Tempest popped as well to try and keep Bird alive. Hexafire just to clear everyone off the point. Buck Wild, they're going for the full reset here. Burrito are trying to find this, but Simsiloo gets SunCommander and he finds nothing.
This is huge here. Simsiloo coming through, playing lights out on this pip. He's looking for more bonus damage, jumps in the air, uses the explosive flash, helps clean it up on the platter, and there it is. Bonkar gets taken down again. Mutustiina on a 19 streak right now for Wolves, playing out of his mind. Impales Buck away from the point. You better jump away, Big Daddy, and this is all Wolves Esports going to town on Burrito.
This is the impact player. He had the most damage despite losing handily in the previous game. You saw Wolves prioritize the Shaolin second, just under the Ying. This is the key shutdown. Leminate, or SunCommander, excuse me, on this Buck has got to find a kill onto this Shaolin. But like you mentioned, it's not a great matchup. Impale and planted, it's going to take Buck down every single time.
And if he's going for the loadout that gives him the card grounded, he's going to heal up. He might even have Wind Wall, which is a little bit of defense reduction. This is where Buck can make things happen, and that's a perfect approach by SunCommander. He gets poked down, and Buck gets a lot of ultimate charge. Now at 91%. We saw that he used it just a moment ago in that last fight. Already he's at 99% now, thanks to shutting down on the 19 streak. But look at that air shot by Simsiloo. He throws the healing potion, but it might as well have been a spray. SunCommander takes him down in the process, but all the while, it's Wolves Esports with a strong push.
Simsiloo is hitting some nutty air direct shots. with this Pip, and it's so much damage. It's actually more damage. He received, you know, a net 10% buff on this combo with the explosive flash. So Pip is hitting hard if he's landing his shots direct, just like every other blaster in the game now.
Yep.
Bird sitting here trying to get something done. Buckwild popped in the back line, trying to find anything, something, but the polymorph is too big from Simsiloo.
Meanwhile, Ying's still alive here, and the Maelstrom ain't gonna do nothing against this. There are turrets, there are clones, there are chickens, and there are victories for Wolves Esports.
God.
They just had a party, and they couldn't hear any noise complaints.
Burrito getting 7-0'd, or 4-0'd in 7 minutes.
7-0, man.
4-0'd in 7 minutes. Burrito fall to Wolves, a team that's fighting to get into the top 4 today. They are fighting for that top 4 spot, whereas Burrito are qualified. They are chilling. They are laid back today. And maybe it's showing a little bit, but Wolves are looking extremely strong today.
And bonkar, Leminate, not having the same type of impact that Bird had when he was on the healer. Of course, they died a little bit more, were not alive as much, and you can't even really say something about Burrito, in my opinion. I think it is all about this lineup. It's the Barrack pick. It's the Barrack in tandem with the Ying. It's Mutustiina with only 1 death. It's NTBees with 0 deaths whatsoever. And it's Simsiloo just bringing out that damage and the plays with the perfect evil mojos. This is what I want to see when people play Pip. That type of impact. That is what that ultimate can do. Simsiloo is one of the only players I've seen in competitive reliably, consistently over a set make Pip work this well.
He's hitting his direct shots too, which if you're playing a blaster, that is key. You saw just how hard this Pip was hitting for once he was getting his explosive flash bonus damage leverage. 42,000. Mutustiina had a phenomenal game there, sitting at 68,000 on the Shaolin. Laizy was able to get a lot of damage pushed through, but that was just turned out to be a meaningless poke. Dragon punching clones. And Sleepy hitting him with the bird.
And here's the most important thing. We have not seen the victories come for Wolves without the Ying. Going into the next map, we saw because Mutustiina and the squad of Wolves, when they had the advantage to take the Ying, they ended up losing 2 in a row to Burrito, have switched it from being their advantage in this last game to first pick to Burrito's advantage in this last game to first pick. And that means that Burrito could be eligible to grab the Ying first. And we have not seen them be successful without it. Wolves are really going to have to show what they've got here big time on Frozen Guard.
Frozen Guard, the longest sightlines by far of most maps that we've seen today. So we could see Kinessa come out. We haven't seen her yet. She received some changes. Obviously with the legendary system getting some more damage, headshot damage, or just her standard bonus damage with the full charge. We haven't seen any Victor yet today. Another character that has been highly regarded there, but it will still be the Ying first pick for Burrito this time. Obviously, they lost the previous game, so they have the choice to go first pick this game.
What do? The Makoa is drafted first. But what comes along with it? The Drogos. Burrito now have a choice.
Take the Shaolin away from Mutustiina, please.
I mean,
Ruckus Shaolin, I think, would be the choice here. Wolves take the Makoa pretty early, though. Burrito haven't been showing the propensity to want to pick this up.
No.
So a little bit early maybe there on the Makoa.
This could be a way to really focus the Ying. If you do catch sight of her with that hook, that's one of the best, more guaranteed ways to finish her off.
You're right. Team's still trying to figure it out. It is the Shaolin Ruckus for Burrito. The Ruckus has been impactful on either team it's been on. Mutustiina has been phenomenal on the Shaolin. You got to get him off of this. Maybe put bonkar on it. Anybody, somebody. A lot of people from Burrito can play this character, so it's always going to be a strong early pickup for them.
So now they take the buck, Wolves Esports, going with what they feel is a very strong champion. Maldamba comes through with the healer. If he goes with Spirit's Chosen route, he's just going to be healing up, trying to keep that single target he's working on alive and healthy. But we've seen Burrito and we've seen Wolves take advantage of the Ying Ruckus combination right now.
Do they go Barrack?
They
go Torvald.
This is a little scary for Burrito, in my opinion. What they're trying to do with the Torvald, it's the field study with the damage, but it's also the shield counter because they've only got 1 right now. But I don't know, Drogos, I mean, they're going to be able to eat this alive a little bit if Drogos stays alive.
They have the Drogos, they have the Pip as well. Simsiloo's been hitting phenomenal ultimates to try and break up these more point-centric team compositions. This is definitely one coming out from Grover pickup as well, able to use those long lines of sights just kind of as area denial. But there's not a lot of characters on Wolves that really like to sit from super far away. You could say the Drogos, but it's harder to hit your long range shots there. And the Buck, I feel, is going to have a very, very difficult time with this Burrito lineup. So that's a pick that I think is not really going to hit the mark. That's maybe why Burrito just want to stay around the point, right? Just make this Buck useless.
And
don't give him a target.
Let's see how well Mutustiina can perform here. We see recurve pretty standard for Leminate. This is field study, consistent for Laizy as well, 40% damage when he shields his targets. Lifelike as well by Ying. Bonkar, run influx generator as we've seen. The repulsor field double damage and deep roots, pretty standard for Burrito and what they favor here. Gourd, slowing enemies by 40%. Ripen Gourd, that's very new by Maldamba. Half shell as well here, NTBees, trying to get that shell on the ground. So two very dynamic playstyles. See the Catalyst run by Pip, still the same. Heroic Leap, Bounce House, chosen for Buck. And finally, Fusillade again for Drogos, Nick. These two changes for Maldamba and Makoa, though, are huge.
Yep, so his Gourd will now apply a 40% slow to everyone inside of it for the duration, as well as the half shield. You can see Makoa can deploy his shield. They don't find the pick on the Laizy, but Makoa can now deploy his shield and still continue to take action using his other abilities, shooting, using his hook, shell shielding, all that good stuff. First blood goes to Burrito, eliminates Shaolin, finding the mark.
However, he does lose the bonus damage, Nick, and despite the hook, he's not able to burst targets as efficiently, but he is able to be more available to do damage and to disrupt the fight, and that's what it's all about. When you have a competitive team, you don't necessarily need to finish it. If all 5 members shoot at it, that's enough damage for you. The shell shield as well coming up. They're doing a good job not shooting at it, because of course that's going to mean that they increase the speed at which it comes back up for every, I believe it's 2,000 to 3,000 damage taken by that shield.
Yep, 54% for Burrito on the point, 33 for Wolves as they now bully Burrito off of the zone. Dragon Punch charged up as well for Respa, so all of these tanks need to be careful here. Torvald probably going to be the best target as the Wreckers are fairly low at this stage of the game, but he'll take anyone there. Nice. There's a nice target. Bird, one of the 2 healers though, so not the best pickup. You know, that's not the dream shot.
But here's what they wanted. Bonkar, is he going to go down? Do they get a kill? Sleepy takes down Bonkar on the Maldamba. That is a big deal. They take down the front line. Sleepy still alive and using the Gourd to zone out. Look at this play by NTBees. Finishes him off. No bonus damage. No bonus damage needed, sir. Wolves Esports still in control in this one. Dimensional League about to run through. There's the Dread Serpent. Wolves Esports playing out of their mind with this ultimate synergy, and that's the first point for them on Frozen Guard.
4 kills for nothing. Wolves Esports take it clean here, and Drogo's already back to 40% on his Dragon Punch here, looking to keep the momentum going strong. Wolves have the ultimates to do it. Buck Wild is ready to go almost again with the polymorph. Evo Mojo is at 73%.
He's playing so well. That's what changes team fights, and you often don't see the Evo Mojo being able to be utilized on the first team fight. You have to usually look at that at round 2, but they were able to take advantage of it here because of the direct damage, because of the 8 streak that Simsiloo's been on, and just look at the efficiency he's had in hitting his targets. He's almost going to have it again, staying alive with his weightless. Oh boy, 171 health. And he is still going to be in this fight. 94% keeps the kill streak, and the Evil Mojo will be coming out soon, and he may want to use this here. The windup not used by Buck. He's not going to go Buck Wild just yet. They want to finish off the healer. If they can do that, the Ying goes down. They will be in a good spot. They're trying to finish her off. Can they get her using the clone to body block? Finally, and there's the Buck Wild. Mutustiina activates it. Double damage, double healing, double kill. He's jumping up one more. Bounce House Buck going in, and Bonkar's gonna get silenced. One more shot by him. 2-0. Wolves Esports on Frozen Guard.
Buck shutting down the Grover Whirlwind as it was winding up. Massive damage coming through. Buck Wild doubles Buck's damage for the duration there, so a beautiful play. Bird not able to get the wind up off there, keeping himself or his team alive. Did consume his ultimate, however, so that is going to be just another chip on the stacks for Wolves Esports. They put themselves in a great position to keep this snowball rolling here. They have the Evo Mojo available. The big polymorph we saw had a crazy impact in the previous round. They have the Ancient Rage as well, which wasn't even available. NTBees looking to use that to help swing this team fight as well. And another Dread Serpent from Sleepy. So the healers, the support players, are finding a lot of good damage, a lot lot of good healing to keep their ultimates fresh.
And you see 4 members on the side of Wolves again, the same 4 members on kill streaks in the double digits. Respa, the only one who have died recently, but he has served his purpose. They're going for the counter flank here. If they see a really good Evil Mojo opportunity, they might just use it, but the Torvald already isolated. You don't even need the bonus damage. It's just so effective. The half shield comes out, and look at this Dread Serpent. There's the Ancient Rage. There's the Evil Mojo, and there's bonkar falling. There's Laizy falling. Bird is alive, but he is not well as he is taking on Simsiloo. It's support v support. Who's going to come out on top? Explosive Flash makes Bird jump away, and he knows he needs to heal his teammates. Otherwise, that Grover's not doing too much for the squad.
Bird does clean up Sleepy on his way out, 54% and climbing. A nice staggered respawn, though, for Wolves to try and keep things going, but they used everything there at almost the same time, Reese. You see, like, teams like Burrito, D69, the veteran squads will spread out their ultimates to keep constant pressure alive. You now see Bird and the boys of Burrito have a chance to take this one back, coming in roaring with the Hexafire, forcing Wolves off the esport, and Wolves don't have anything left in the tank. They used it all.
That's true, and Hyper Beam is here, but will Laizy fall as a result? There it is. Simsiloo cleans up the Ying, but it looks like with the root, the silence available, but look, there's the pull, and he looks like he could go down. Laizy goes to the depths, and he will be gone back to base here. There's the Dragon Punch from Respa, double kill for him, and he goes down, but it's all Mutustiina now. The Buck happy to be on cleanup duty here, jumping over onto Leminate, gets taken down. The Gourd has slowed him enough, though, from Maldaba using the Ripened Gourd, that they're 3-0. Wolves Esports one push away from winning and moving to the finals.
That was close. They have the Dread Serpent charged up once again, as well as the Evil Mojo's almost ready to go. Once again, these supports are finding massive amounts of ultimate charge. Sleepy doing a phenomenal job on this Maldaba. Throws out the Gourd just to keep that slow pressure, keep his team healed up. bonkar is going to be able to find NTBees on his way out, unfortunately. 2 minutes remain here for Wolves to push this one through. The Buck has just frankly been silent. You know, this pick, aside from smacking Bird out of that Whirlwind ultimate, has been relatively quiet. We saw him get boxed out against what seemed like a free kill against Leminate's Shaolin, but the Buck is not having the impact that I anticipated. Neither is the Androxus. These were 2 characters that, you know, the competitive players were worried about. They were freaking out a little bit about the mobility and the damage that these characters were already able to bring.
But at the end of the day, Nick, you know, it's all about how you play as a unit in competitive. It's not necessarily the individual star. You see, with healing, it can be so important because that's just a stat that means sustain for your team. Mobility is more of a luxury, though, especially if you're talking about a character, whether you have 3 dashes or not, still able to kill you in a couple of shots. And we're talking about Drogos here. We're talking about a counter, of course, of Shaolin being able to just burst through your damage. 3 dashes won't make an effect if you get impaled by him. And Leminate, Mutustiina have been showing good performances on that champion. There's another planet for the books, and they're doing a great job now just slowing the advance of Wolves Esports, who have just taken control of this game step by step by step. It almost as if they're following a formula for how to beat Burrito here with their lineup.
Damn strong hold there from Burrito. For a time, the zone does collapse. Leminate on his way out actually gets taken out by Respa. So now with a 4v5 scenario, there's a quick answer back. Long-range Grover Axe going to be doing massive damage, over 1,000 there onto Simsiloo. Takes him out. 30 seconds remain here for Wolves. After a strong hold from Burrito, zoned out way far away from the payload for a time, puts Wolves in a difficult situation to try and find the conversion.
And let's talk about this, Nick, too, as well. People said half shell. They said the 80% damage was something that you just had to take. That was pretty much standard and necessary on Makoa. And look at this half shell coming out. Look at this Gourd providing such a devastating effect. You have Pip's explosive flask, and you have Maldamba's Gourd now. 40% or 50% slow. Take whichever one you want. They're both on the battlefield, and that is almost impossible to deal with. And NTBees just having this half shield up, having Makoa up and active this entire fight rather than going into that defensive mode has kept him alive and kept him impactful with these hooks.
Simsiloo does go down, unfortunately. Here's the Dragon Punch as well from Respa. Able to find the kill onto bonkar here. Here comes the Ying, clones and illusions. There's a Hyper Beam as well. Overtime has been ticked through, trading out kill for kill, but the defense is successfully, as space is created around the point with the Hyper Beam and with the particular pickoffs that Burrito were able to get, so they keep themselves alive. They are down 3-1 though, and if Wolves are able to capture another payload, this series is all over, and Burrito will fall once again in the semis.
And Bird with his Whirlwind, the ultimate from Grover, very strong, but cauterized 3 out from Mutustiina. And Simsiloo with cauterized 2, it's going to be real easy for him and Buck to affect the fight, get a couple of shots off onto the key targets that are going to be getting healed up. The game paused by Laizy at the moment right now, just making sure that his team know exactly the stakes here. They may have already qualified, but there's nobody on Burrito that wants to lose this game.
And you mentioned there's a lot of control and slows on Wolves, and you're right, and no resilience picked up. We see a nimble from Laizy, just trying to keep himself in line. Resilience is a nice cheap way as well to get rid of some of these duration slows. I believe the slow from Maldamba with his gourd is persistent. It will last as long as you are standing in the gourd, but that's not the case with the explosive flash. That's duration based.
That's right.
And they couldn't go for the resilience, trying to get themselves moving around the fight a little bit easier, just trying to stay alive, just trying to get this cauterize online as well. Burrito in a tough spot.
Very, very tough spot. But again, to me, this is the excitement of the legendary system. This is the diversity which teams are not going to be able to bring. And this is the layer of strategy. Because you pick Makoa, you think one thing, everyone, the meta is this. You hear from the YouTube videos, you hear from Twitch streams, you say, you got to have this. And oh, whoa, they're playing this way. I didn't expect Ripened Gourd out of Maldamba, and I'm not really prepped against that style. This is the opportunity for teams in this competitive scene now. NTBees with the half shell, just going to put it up, and he's going to stay safe. He's not going to get poked out, and he's still going to have the opportunity to hit a chain. Doesn't hit it. The Dredge Anchor will fail, waiting for that on cooldown, but this is a great spot from Simsiloo. He's got the evil mojo, and he's going to want to use it soon.
No ultimates available from Burrito. They used everything to hold that defense there. They had to. They would have lost the game and the set, but Wolves once again have both support ultimates available. It seems like they are always up and ready to go when they need to be, just looking for the right angles, but every second that ticks away is time on the objective for Burrito. 78% already. Wolves need to make a convincing move and fast.
And that's NTBees going under the point here. The half shell is going to keep NTBees alive, and there's the Dread Serpent. They've got to find a pick. They find 2, Laizy and Bird go down, and will it be bonkar as well on the Ruckus? It certainly will. 21% and counting, and this is huge. They are staggered, but how far will Wolves Esports chase? You can tell in their comms, in their minds, they know they are 1 point away from winning this, and Laizy gets caught out. This could be bad for them. They're focusing on now. They've got Respa with the Dragon going over there with the direct shots. Laizy still getting damage here thanks to the Wrecker. He's almost dead. There's the chickens. There's the evil mojo. Respa still alive, and now as though Leminate finishes him off, this could be the end.
That could be massive. The Dragon Punch is available, but Leminate takes him out before he's able to get used. Big healing coming through, and Sleepy finds 2 kills. NTBees finds one as well, and Wolves 93 and ticking here. No one from Burrito is even close. Wolves take down the first seed Juggernauts and move on to the finals.
Well, we told you that Wolves needed to win, and we told you that Burrito had already qualified. That doesn't always tell the story, but today it just might have. Burrito maybe taking the foot off the gas here, preparing for some more important things, having a member of their team like Neil, who's admittedly, not here this weekend, taking some time for himself, getting ready for the next phase of qualifying. And of course now, it's all Wolves Esports and their chance to make it to that top 4. They've got to keep winning, they've got to do what they need to do, but they have done a huge thing here by beating Burrito.
Huge shout out to Simsiloo today. Just phenomenal games on Pip. 32-4, best slash line on his team. 62,000 damage, second only to the Drogo. See, that's been the theme of the day for him on this Pip. Second only to his main damage dealer for his team. He always felt like he had his evil mojo up. Yeah. Sleepy as well. Always felt like he had the Dread Serpent up when his team needed it. Beautiful job from the support players from this team.
They always got value. They got so much value off of all their ults.
They adjusted as well, right? We saw them use everything at once, and then in that round, they just used the Dread Serpent, and they held on to the evil mojo. They had a Dragon Punch spaced out as well. They got excited, it looked like a little bit, and just dropped everything at once, but then they slowed it down, they pumped the brakes, and they were able to coast through to the finish line off early momentum.
Mutustiina still has a pretty strong game as well. Let's go to the bracket and check out what your next match you will be watching here will be. It will be D69 versus Interlopers to see who faces off against Wolves Esports in the finals. An incredibly contested best-of-5 set going the distance. Won by Wolves is what you all just saw. And of course, if you're just tuning in, we will be back with more open bracket qualifying in a minute. Of course, it's going to be an exciting time here. Now we get to take a look at Interlopers and D69. A really interesting matchup that's been, I think, one of the key marquee kind of teams that you want to see whenever we've come here on the weekend.
Unbelievable and spunky, two guys that used to play for Burrito in District 69. I'm excited just to see the draft of this series. This could be a whole different, we could flip everything we just saw on its head. We just don't know what's going to be standard here today.
All right, we're going to be going to a quick break, but all of you stay tuned. We'll have the next semifinals, D69 versus Interlopers, coming soon in just a sec.